Welcome everyone to the Talk for Health podcast, coming from the Mental Health Attention Club. As we know, coming from a long winter break and entering a new month and new year, seasonal anxiety and depression is on the rise. With its prevalence, it has drastic effects on students, and it is important to acknowledge how these effects leave crucial impacts on students' well-being. Today, we will explore this topic on seasonal anxiety and depression with our host Fatih and a panel of 3 students. Can you all introduce yourselves?
Hello, my name is Fatimata, and in honor of Black History Month, I'll be interviewing 3 people today. Can you all state your names, please?
Hi, my name is Gianni Hernandez.
Hi, my name's Angel Rodriguez.
Hi, my name's Angie Carumpus.
Alright, so for this interview, we have 12 questions. So I'll start with the first one. How do you feel about setting goals in January, especially for the start of the new year? Does the idea of New Year's resolution add pressure or motivation you have?
Personally, I never really had New Year's resolutions. I never really thought about having goals for January. But I do realize the importance of it because I feel like now that I've started, especially in senior year, I think you kind of have to set goals and be on top of things. I'm sure So yeah, I think it's very helpful to try to set goals and try to actually match them because sometimes I can set goals for myself and I never follow through. This January I've been trying to set goals for myself and really accomplish my goals.
Interesting.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, especially obviously we're both seniors. I always have a common New Year's resolution every single year, which is to not procrastinate. But somehow when that year ends, I don't really there's times where I'll follow through with that goal for a good month, and then I'll stop, and then I'll it's just a back and forth type of situation.
Yeah.
But I do think even with that, I think setting New Year's resolutions are really important for someone. But yeah, because it sets kind of just you're setting your individualized goal for yourself, hoping that you can it's kind of just something to look forward to throughout the year. So
I agree.
Yeah, I have a different viewpoint from both of you, considering I'm a decent bit younger. I don't really have New Year's resolutions to begin with, nor do I follow through on them if I actually make them. Although I do think it is important to set goals for yourself as just a baseline as to where you want to be or where you should be, as opposed to just not setting anything, just not having any goals for yourself.
I agree.
I know I'm just an interviewer, but I would like to chime in on this fact. Because usually when I do make New Year's resolution, I never really follow through like most of you said. But I feel like this year I've been actually improving since I'm only a junior and college is up ahead for me, and it's important to actually have goals as an adult.
Definitely.
So, have you noticed any changes in your mental health when you're working towards a goal? For example, does focusing on achieving something ever feel overwhelming or stress-inducing?
Absolutely. I'm a person who gets extremely stressed over the smallest things all the time. And I feel why I've always put off setting goals for myself is because I think instead of it being something that's joyful and it's okay, I'm gonna cross this, I'm gonna accomplish this, I more view it as okay, this is something I need to do, and if I don't, I'm a failure, which is not a good way to think. But sometimes I do feel when I am setting goals and trying to accomplish it, I can feel very good about it, at least if it's something I'm good at, or if it's a paper I really want to complete, or I want to make sure all this week I don't have no late assignments, stuff like that. Once I'm completing those goals, sometimes those can be a little less stressful and I feel more proud of myself. But I can be very stressed.
Yes, all the time. Every single time actually, when I set a goal for myself, it either ends up putting a lot of pressure on me as an individual, or just in general, just having a lot of pressure and stress that builds up over time until eventually everything implodes and I'm just sitting here wondering what the heck happened.
yeah, I definitely agree with both of you guys and every single idea you just said. Honestly, for me personally, this past like after summer ended in 2024, from that going on all the way to present day now, January 2025, like that time frame has definitely been one of like the biggest for me. Like I've experienced a lot of events that really like impacted my mental health.
Yeah.
Like not to get too personal, but like I did like had to suffer the loss of like many people in my life.
I'm
But
sorry.
thank
Yeah,
you.
we're
But
sorry.
yeah, so that's why like that really specific time period has really just like taken a toll on my mental health, and especially like again like with college, like everyone like did early action and stuff like that, and here I am just doing regular decision and stuff.
Me too.
So that's also why like setting goals in general, like obviously like there's gonna be mental like stress that comes with it because you're trying to set that achievement for you, but also like even trying to set a goal already with like and you're already struggling mentally before making a goal, like it just like kind of like it just makes it worse. But I do think like it's kind of just like beneficial because you know you're looking out for yourself and you're trying. That's why like the whole point of setting a goal is to be a better version of yourself. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
going
I
back to
think.
the college thing, I think at least for us juniors is even putting more pressure compared like what we've been hearing from the seniors so far. At least from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first few months of school I've actually been so stressed out to the point of crying. But like after this year I've been setting more goals to be at least less pressured on myself. I'm still able to achieve and at least be human at the same time.
Fair.
That's true. I think a certain amount of pressure can be good. I think when it gets to the extreme where you feel like you need to cry or like you need to escape, that's where it gets bad. But I think goals giving you a little bit of pressure can be a good thing
Yeah.
in the long run.
Because of the fact that pressure can kind of help you like like improve or just
Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of like take a next step forward.
like
Yes.
y'all gonna have to help me here.
It's okay.
You're
I'm
good.
failing miserably to find words.
It's okay. So any final thoughts or anything?
No, I agree with everything you guys said.
All right, so moving on to the next question. How do you balance the excitement of setting goals with the possibility of feeling discouraged if you don't meet them right away?
I do not. That task is it feels almost impossible for me to do. It's just that I don't particularly know how to do that, and it kind of sucks. Especially when you get excited about setting a goal and then don't realize the fact that you might just be putting way too much pressure on yourself, and then when that happens, you end up in a pretty difficult spot where you're either okay, where you're either having to kind of just move, just like try and move along or force yourself to move along, or you want to quit and then you feel bad about yourself, and then you kind of spiral. That's,
I understand. I feel like it can also come from the lack of support you get from others. Like you tell your friends that you want to do all these things, but like they also have a few opinions that may not come to your liking, or just lack of support in general, and the discouragement that makes you maybe fall down to that pit.
I definitely agree. Also, like my opinion is that like what was I gonna say? Oh, I kind of like come to like now at this point, like I've come to the agreement with myself, like you know, if I don't meet that specific goal, like you know, it's okay, because it's like as long as you're like trying to meet that goal to your fullest potential and like every way that you can, like that's what matters, is that you're trying to meet that goal. So it's okay if you don't meet the goal. Not to be repetitive, but yeah, like I've kind of come to terms with like the amount of goals that I've set myself for the for this past year, and like the amount of goals I set for myself compared to the amount of goals that I actually completed. Like it's kind of just like as you get older and more mature, you kind of just like start to realize that like it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay.
Yeah, I agree with
Like
the maturity.
it's like definitely like I don't know, but it's just like as you get older, you start to realize that like there's a lot of things to look forward to that you know, you just want to live that life. So you never. That's why, like, again, like, I've come to the agreement with that. It's just like the term that I'm always gonna stick with throughout my whole life is YOLO, because like you literally only live once. So it's just like you might as well do stuff right now, and just try not to like let others get in the way of what you want and your goals, and try not to let that get in the way of your own mental health stuff.
Right. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, me personally, this is a really hard struggle for me because I feel like I'm very much like a perfectionist, but only against myself. Like, I'm very much, everything I do, I need to execute it properly and like accurately as possible. Like, I'm very much that way. So trying to accomplish goals, and if I feel like I didn't accomplish it in the way that I wanted to, I can be very, very bad, like down on myself. And like trying to balance the excitement with the stress, it can be very hard for me. But like, that's something I think you can do with time. Like, I think you should not feel like I just need to like feel better right away about myself. Like, those are things that come with time, and it's okay for you not to feel great right now. But I think like, take the little victories, and like, I think honestly, as long as you're trying for something, that's a win in itself. I always like to stand by like the belief that like, you're not a loser if you fail. I think it's a loser if you don't even try because you're scared of failing. Like, just be okay with the fact that you tried, and that's all you can really give. Like, you can't always control the outcome. So I think it's just, if you're trying and you're doing your best, and you know, you're living your life, look forward to other things in life, it's not all about this one goal you have, then you're fine and it's okay.
Do you find the winter months, especially January, affect your motivation or energy levels when it comes to pursuing goals? If so, how do you cope with these changes in mood or energy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for me, I'm definitely a summer and spring girly, and when I feel like, when that season approaches, like, I feel as though like that's like my most authentic self. Not to say that like I'm not authentic in the other seasons, but it's just like, that's, well, one, you have no school, and two, like, I don't know, to me, like, I just love like summer weather and like just the sun and just like, you know, like just like flowers and stuff like that, and I just feel so much more free, and like literally like it's like kind of like a light switch for me. It's like my mental health, you turn on the light switch and like everything is like perfect. So I definitely agree. For me, like when it starts to get into that like autumn and winter weather, more specifically winter, because it's like or especially this year, like this year was one of the only winter breaks that, like, it was our longest winter break. We had, like,
it was like 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks off, and I didn't do any work. And I feel like,
Really?
for me, like, again, like, I'm not a winter girl, but that also impacts like how my mental health was. Like, yeah, I was staying in, which is also what affects my mental health. It's like, I'm not going out, I'm just like on my phone the whole time, and it kind of just like makes me feel kind of just like, I low-key was kind of bed rotting like during winter break. So that kind of like, again, like with that, like, it definitely affects my mood, and I mean both in good and bad ways. The good ways being kind of just like I'm at ease with myself, and I'm just like staying inside, no distractions from like the outside world. But bad and being kind of just like
you're not doing
like
anything.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything, like both like physically like and mentally. Like, I'm not really setting any goals for myself in that particular season. So I definitely think for me, like, it really affects my mental health. And yeah, I don't know, I just kind of feel sad all the time in the winter. Like, I feel like there's like, except like for me, because I celebrate Christmas, like that's like probably the only time I'll ever be like happy. And like during the winter. So that's my thoughts on that.
I'm a summer and autumn person. I am not a winter person, despite me liking the cold. So I actually kind of hate it a lot, and it does affect my mental health. Especially from what you said, like in winter break, I was also very cooped up in the house. Although that's usually what I would prefer. Recently that hasn't been the case. I want to go out, and that in itself is like it hurt me, because I didn't get to talk to anybody. So I was basically on my own for like 2 weeks, and I literally got nothing done. Not even any of my personal projects, which I really wanted to do. And it sucked. I was just kind of putting stuff off more and more and more and more and more until it basically wasn't. I couldn't I couldn't use the excuse for procrastination anymore. I just didn't want to do it.
So based on your both answers, would you say that winter breaks aren't a good thing?
I mean,
It really depends on the person and how they approach winter break and how, like, in previous experience they've had with winter break. I definitely think, like, like, again, because, like, I'm not a winter girl, it's not really my season, like, to other people who love winter, it could be one of, like, the most calming time periods for them, where they just, like, they like being inside the house, and they like the cold weather, and sometimes that weather kind of just affects how you approach other people. To kind of word that differently, kind of just, like, for me, like, in the summer, like, I just, like, I'm a very social person, despite, like, anything, like, that's just me, that's my personality. But I do think, like, in the summer, like, I feel, again, like, piggybacking off of my previous, like, response, I do think, like, I feel more free in the summer, so I feel as though, like, I can really talk to more people. But, like, no, like, definitely, again, like, it really depends on the person. Like, for some people, like, I know a lot of my friends, they love winter break, and they feel, like, at their best during winter break, so, yeah.
Honestly, I'm kind of one of those people.
I think seasonal depression is a very real thing.
Yeah, that's why
And-
I was asking that question.
And, like, I think it hits me more once break is over and we have to come back. I think there's, like, a buildup of excitement right before break, and, like, everybody's excited to, like, not have school. And then, like, during break, obviously it's, like, holiday season, so, like, I see all my family, and, like, my family personally, like, brings me true happiness. Like,
And
that's
there's
when I feel
also
happy.
the fact that not many people, including me as a Muslim, don't celebrate Christmas either.
Right.
So it's a longer break for them too.
Right, exactly. So, like, I can see even for people like that who don't celebrate Christmas and stuff like that, like, it could feel even more so, like what is there to look forward to? Because people who at least celebrate Christmas, like, they feel like, okay, like how you said, that's a form of joy for you. Maybe you don't like the rest of break, but that's something you look forward to. But, like,
And
if you
I'm
don't
pretty
celebrate,
sure that they can't go anywhere at that time either, because most of the places are closed down just to celebrate that
and
certain
that's
holiday.
another thing that can add to the loneliness. I think, like, during that time on break, I'm very happy initially, because it's like, okay, I'm seeing my family, whatever, but then I feel very unproductive. And when I feel unproductive, I don't feel happy. Like, I'm a person, I like to feel, maybe it's because, like, when you're on go, it can feel like, oh, it's keeping me busy from me having to think or having to, like, really reminisce or, like, sit in my feelings, because I'm on go and I'm constantly doing something. But then, you sit with your thoughts, and, like, that can really, like, mess with you. And then we have to come back, and it's like, when you are on break, your brain doesn't function the same, because you're just used to, like, relax. Your brain doesn't have to be thinking it on go. So when you come back, it's like, oh, snap back into reality. Like, this is my life now. Like, I have to go back to school, back to everything. And I think that can add to kids, like, seasonal depression, because it's like, okay, you just had to relax. Now you have to come back, and now I have to be on go again with school. Like, and school isn't easy. Like, I think school can be a lot, whether it's mentally, whether it's academically, like, it's not easy. It can
And
be hard.
I feel like it
so.
affects even harder if you're taking AP classes,
Exactly.
and AP teachers give you all these assignments on the first day of week or the first day back,
Yeah.
and you feel really sluggish from all the sitting around doing nothing, especially when they don't assign you anything, which is a good thing, but, like, there's nothing being done during those weeks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be moving on to our next question. This is kind of backtracking on the last question, but some students do experience seasonal depression or a drop in mood during the winter. And how does it impact your ability to focus schoolwork or personal goals?
Like, I get hit with seasonal depression hard, like, in the winter.
Me too.
It sucks, and it's like even more for me, considering I'm already dealing with depression, so it compounds.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's hard. I can't, like, imagine, but that's hard.
But realistically, yes, it would definitely affect work and stuff, because you're depressed. Obviously, you are sad, so you kind of like most of the time you really just want to sit like just chill or sit in bed and be in your feelings.
Right.
But you can't do that because you have work. So you kind of have to pick yourself up and force yourself to do work, which ends up making your mood worse and worse and worse.
I know exactly that feeling.
And then eventually you crash and burn out and
Right. I think I definitely always have. It's always that seasonal depression, and it sucks because I feel like with seasonal depression, you don't ever really know why. I think like if you're sad about something or if you're feeling depressed, like if you feel like there's a reason, it almost feels easier in a way because for some reason I feel like humans naturally like we like to have something to blame, and it makes things easier when you have something to blame. So like when it's seasonal depression, it sometimes feel like, oh, I don't know why I feel this way. Like there's nothing going on. Like, and you can't control the weather. You can't control like it's the months, they change. Like that's just how it happens.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really know what to do to fix it. I just have to wait until summer or wait until the sun comes out. Like you just don't want to do that. So it sucks. I feel like that's something that everybody relates to. But I find comfort in the fact that other people feel the same way because like you don't feel alone. Like I love that other people
Although I do know a teacher at this school that does suffer the same illnesses, like seasonal depression, and one way that he improves it is having a sun lamp that helps improve his mood during the winter months. So I think that can help.
May I ask what is a sun lamp?
It's basically kind of like that, but it's kind of like brights up the room. Yeah, it's basically used to help people with seasonal depression light up their moods so they don't feel sluggish most of the time.
Cool.
It impacts it a lot, especially like if you're already dealing with a lot of work to begin with. Like I know, like I definitely experienced a lot of seasonal depression again, like because I'm not really a winter girl again, but also kind of just like, I don't know, like for me, it really impacts the way that I do my work, especially even now, like I low-key, like I feel like I still have seasonal depression just because like also like that groundhog announced that we have 6 more weeks of winter.
Oh yeah.
Like that made me so like I literally was like, are you kidding me? I was like, okay. So that again, that like lengthens more of my seasonal depression that I'm having. But yeah, like even now, like these past like 2 weeks, like I haven't been doing any work. Like I'm gonna be so real, like, and if any of my teachers are hearing this, you didn't hear it, but like I really like have, I don't know, like winter just doesn't, like I just feel like
doesn't
so
go with your
unmotivated.
vibe.
Like yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It like wrecks my whole vibe, and it's just like I just don't feel motivated at all to do my work. Like I have work still now, even from like that's how you know like I really don't like me and winter is not a good comparison. Like even in my AP classes, like I have missing work from like 2 weeks ago, and it's kind of just like it's like when I get home, cause I also work 3 days out of the 5 days that we have school. Like I don't work on the weekends, but I work on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and I only work until 8 because I'm not gonna do that to myself and work like really really late. But like even after that, getting home, taking a shower, and then like opening my laptop, I'll do like one assignment and then I just fall asleep. Like it just makes me like I just feel so tired. Like even if I wasn't working and I didn't have a job, I do feel like as though like I would still be that type of person and just like not be able to do my work due to like it being the winter. But yeah, but also like kind of like one of my ways like of a solution for that, like I can't get my work done at home even if it's like the spring, even if it's during like the fall, like the winter, whatever, like I can't do work at home. So every time if I'm really like trying to break that procrastination like phase of me, I have to go to a cafe. Like I literally love going to Paris Baguette. That's like
I love Paris Baguette.
I go there and I'm locked in for like 3 hours and I'm fine. But again, like yeah, I do think seasonal depression is a really big thing, and I feel like a lot of people don't really like, especially with that and with it being just like such like a cozy like weather. I feel like people I feel like people don't speak up enough about it, and they kind of just like leave it to themselves and they don't ask for help or anything, which obviously, like, I think that's like a very common thing, even without, if it's not seasonal depression, just like depression in general. Or just like
Or mental health.
mental health in
Yeah.
general. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people feel as though like they can't, they feel like they don't have anyone or there isn't help, but in reality
Or when there is help, but they can't exactly
Yeah.
reach it, or it's not reached to them in time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, for a lot of people, like, just like letting them know that you're there is like enough, especially for those that don't really do good with like social.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like people
so-
with anxiety, like
Mhm.
me, surprisingly.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. So, I know you guys been talking about all the struggles in the winter and seasonal depression, but what do you think are some strategies that you've used to stay motivated during the colder, darker months when your energy or mood might be lower?
Because
Okay. I feel like honestly, it's different for every person. Me personally, this sounds like it might not make sense, but like it's just, I'm a person. I put things off until the very last second, like until I feel like it's absolute go time and I need to get this done. I'm not locking in, like being so honest. And so, and I've tried to get better at that, but it's very hard. But like, the only like strategy really is like if I feel like okay, this is dire, like consequence, like I need to make sure this is done or like I need to complete this, then I lock in at the very last second. But leading up until like I will not, like I will put it off. So I just think like that. I think sometimes like having friends, like surround yourself with people like that try to motivate you and like try to push you, like not necessarily in like a forceful way, but like really who you hang around can really like affect these things. Like I think if you're around people who like constantly trying to better themselves, they want the best for you, like they want to see good for you. Like I have friends who sometimes tell me like, Gianni, like you have to get to school on time, like because I'm a chronically late person, like Gianni, you have to do this, and like them really like as my friend that I truly love and care for telling me themselves like, hey, like you need to do better, like that helps. I think like surround yourself with people who you feel like will help you. I think I like to journal. I like to write sometimes. Sometimes that helps me. I like to just listen to music. Sometimes like I need to just listen to some music, like just be by myself or do things that I love, like art. I love to do art. That feels very peaceful for me. So like giving myself a little time to like do some art, like really think, relax, and also just try not to be too hard on myself and like let myself know like it's okay, you can do it, you can finish it. Sometimes you don't believe it, but like you have to fake it and like make yourself believe it. Like sometimes I don't believe that, or like I'm the best or I'm gonna do great, but like you have to tell yourself that, like you have to try until it becomes reality.
Thank you.
Yeah. I also struggle a lot with getting with making myself actually get stuff done. I have ADHD, so that's gonna be a given.
Oh, yeah, that's
But
interesting.
but like when I procrastinate, it's just like, oh, I need to do this. Well, I'm going to sit in bed for 6 hours and do the exact opposite because it's not due tomorrow or it's not due
Right.
at that hour.
For me, kind of like the same idea. Even if I'm not doing schoolwork, sometimes I just like to sit at a cafe and just literally like just enjoy the pastries that they have and just just be at ease with myself. Or like I'll be with a friend and go to a cafe and just kind of catch up with them. I definitely think like something like that can really motivate myself as a person and trying to be a better version of myself. Another way, so back in when the pandemic had started and we were all just sitting at home, one of the ways that I kind of coped with myself being alone and just like my mental health in general is doing puzzles. Like I haven't done a puzzle in a really long time, but yeah, I do think puzzles like can serve as a really good mental health soother. Again, depending on the person, like I just said, like some people may see it as more of like it kind of triggers your mental health more because you're kind of just like, I can't get this piece, I can't find this other piece. But to me, that's one of my personal ways of kind of dealing with seasonal depression and the strategies that I do to kind of get rid of that or just try to like go through with it in the most easiest way possible. So yeah, and also dancing is like one of my biggest ways to kind of just kind of distract myself from like the real mental reality that we all face. Because like the music and like the art of the dance, like just learning the dances, like it to me, like that's one of my biggest ways of kind of relieving stress, because it's just like you're dancing and it's like nothing around, like there's like nothing else around you. It's just you, the mirror, and your body language and how you respond to the music. Because I've been dancing since I was 5 years old, and that's why I have such a strong like attachment and attraction to dance. Like I actually was gonna like I initially like when after COVID happened or whatever, and like schools were starting to get back in person.
Yeah.
Like my year, like we're seniors now, but when we were freshmen in 2021, we were the first ones to get back into school after the pandemic. Because before that, people were still doing virtual, but we were the first students to actually get back into it. And I actually was originally supposed to go to Kappa, and I really wanted to go to Kappa because of dance. Because again, dance was kind of just like
Kappa's an art school.
Yeah, it's an art school, and also just dance like. It was something that I wanted to do for a long time, and I really was strong on doing it for a career. But then I realized that, like, to me, dance is more of a hobby to me, but that doesn't undermine the fact that I still hold a strong love for it, because that's kind of one of the ways that I distracted myself from a lot of bad things that was happening in my life. So that's why I have such a good relationship with dance. And that's, again, going back to the question, that's one of
Your
that
strategies.
one of my strategies that I use, not just seasonal depression, but just if I'm feeling down anytime at any point in my life. So yeah.
Yeah, I to kind of like I do something similar. Like I kind of do music. I listen to music. I can play music horribly, but I can play music. And reading, a lot of reading, a whole lot of reading. Literally anything, and I guess like in general, whenever I'm doing either of those things, or gaming, I feel calm and not aware of what's going on around me, or just in general being hit, like having to be in reality. But then you also realize the fact that you kind of need to have that balance between kind of being in being in your world, and then being here in general, just being having hobbies is like one of the best ways in general to just deal with seasonal depression.
So before our intermission, I would like to share my 2 cents. So one of the strategies that I will personally like to use, and I know is basic, is just to sleep. Because one of the main reasons of stress is a lack of sleep, at least in my personal experience. Because I remember the beginning of year, I was so caught up with AP classes, because these were my first AP classes that I'm doing, that I barely lacked sleep. Like the latest of bedtime, I would usually go from 12 to 1. But lately I've been improving on that, and I've been less stressed.
Yeah, I get struggling from a lack of sleep. I'm over here with absolutely zero sleep schedule, and just sleeping when my body tells me to. so that probably means I'm either sleeping at 7 o'clock in the afternoon, or I'm not sleeping at all, or getting to sleep at 3 and 4 in the morning, and waking up at like 6, which is bad, obviously, because a lack of sleep means that not only do you feel very, very tired, you also feel depressed because you did not get sleep. You can feel depressed from a lot of things, honestly. Surprises me.
So we will start an intermission while our interviewees will get their snacks, and we'll see you back at 5. Hello and welcome back to our interview. Today we're going to do our last 2 questions with our interviewees.
Yes.
To start off, to you guys, do you ever feel anxious about not reaching your goals, or does it affect your self-esteem? And how do you cope these feelings of anxiety?
Yes. Well, yes, I definitely feel anxious when I'm close to not reaching my goal, or in general, if I don't, then yes, excuse me, I take a huge self-esteem hit, and it's not particularly because I put myself on like I try to put myself on a pedestal. Although I have really high expectations for myself to begin with, which realistically should not be the case. It's just that it's like you set a goal for yourself that you thought that you would be able to achieve. It's kind of like realistically the whole point of a goal is for you to eventually be able to achieve it. I can't imagine how how it would affect people who achieve who want to achieve a lot but can't, or they can, but it's just that they just barely miss those goals, and it sucks. It hurts so much. Like I don't even know.
I can personally relate to this because although I did say a lot like how these goals have been making me improve, I did miss a few goals. For example, for every grade, I set an expectation of what grade point of what I needed to be to get the grade I want. For example, for AP Lang, I wanted to get a 78 or above, or AP Calculus, AP Pre-Calculus, a 98 or above, and I keep missing those points. And honestly, it feels discouraging and a bit embarrassing if you think about it.
Yeah.
But over time, you have to learn that it's okay. You're human. You make mistakes all the time, and there are ways to improve yourself upon that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Especially with like the whole like setting expectations for your grade points, because I also took AP Lang last year, and I was constantly getting like 60s and 70s on all the timed essays and stuff like that. But again, like I do firmly believe like to help your self-esteem and just to help yourself in general and your mental just your mental focus on everything is that like I learned like you learn from your mistakes and you only grow from them. Like you can't I don't think there's any way that like you make a mistake and you get worse. Like you definitely are always gonna learn something from your mistakes. Making mistakes doesn't bring you down, but rather in fact the opposite, brings you back up and higher than before. And just that you can use that against the world to kind of create a better version of yourself every single day. So yeah, and I do think like again with your self-esteem, setting expectations for yourself, just always remember to not be too hard on yourself, because at the end of the day you're in control of what you can do, and sometimes that's going to affect how you set yourself up for success and failure. But again, there's always going to be other factors that affect your self-esteem. So yeah.
And we have one more question that I want to ask you guys. So, how can peers support each other when it comes to goal setting and mental health? And is there any role in friendships play in achieving or adjusting goals, especially during tough times?
You can go first.
Okay. I definitely think having a good group of friends, especially when you're at your lowest and deepest part of your life, it really helps a lot. There have been numerous amount of times where I was at my lowest during the years, and my friends have always been there to support me, whether it be just texting me and it's the simple things and little things that matter. So a simple text just being like, hey, don't forget, I'm always here for you, I'm here to listen to you and stuff like that, feel free to text me if you need. And sometimes that is always just enough to just make your day brighter. Again, I don't expect anyone to automatically know what I'm going through and to know how to help me, but just simply knowing someone, letting someone know that you're there for them and that you're always free to contact them is the thing that just makes everything get better and go away.
Yeah.
but yeah, I do think like friends have a very big impact on your mental health. If you're going through something, especially like again like from like when my senior year started, like a lot of things just kind of like unfortunately like a lot of things started to just spiral and go downhill for me. Like it was just really bad for me. Like on top of that, like I wasn't getting any of my schoolwork done. But yeah, but I mean like I let my friends know like that like I was going through a lot, and that like I really appreciate them for them just being their authentic selves and being there. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like having someone that you can talk to is really a big thing that I want to stress, because a lot of times people think that they're okay with not sharing what they're going through, and it doesn't ever like it never has to be you have to explain every single detail that's going on in your life, but kind of just like, hey, I'm not okay. I think that's like a really big thing, is just at least telling someone what you're going through. Not what you're going through, but just letting them know that you're not okay. And just making sure that that person isn't someone that's going to be on your butt, and that someone isn't going to kind of like force you to open up to them, because you should never have to be forced to open up to someone when you're not ready, because that can really affect your mental health even more. But again, just letting someone know that that you're there for them is a really big thing, and I feel like that's, again, connecting that and comparing that with just friends in general is a really big thing.
Having someone there to give you that little push, and to make sure that you're caring about passing your classes, and while also just being there in case you need somebody to vent to, or just in general being there to comfort you when you're at your lowest. I remember that I remember a time when I felt I was drowning, like literally, like depression, feelings, just
Despair overall.
yeah, just and mood swings, all of these emotions, and I remember just having having somebody there. In my case, there was a couple people that I could trust to help me, or to be there. But that alone, having someone there to be with you, to help you to just make sure that you're okay, to make sure that you're not that you're doing all right. That in itself is just one of the best things that you can have.
Well, thank you for coming to this interview, and thank you to the listeners to listening to our podcast. This is me, Fatimata, the interviewer.
Well, this is Angie.
And this is Angel.
Thanks to our guests today and for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode for the Talk for Help podcast, and keep your eyes open to the Mental Health Attention website and Instagram at Villa_MHA for more updates. Hope to see you again.